Good morning. Happy Sunday to all. Hope you had a great Saturday. Everybody was out shopping. I'm sure it's time to mop your floors and wipe off your cars because the salt is going to eat up the layers, okay? So get out that good Murphy oil, get the Pine Sol out in your favorite cleaning materials and start a wiping. Even though I don't think we're clear off of the salt thing, you just shouldn't just let it lie, right? And all these flavors, and you choose to be salty. Some people are sour. It is what it is. Pineapples, pineapples. Like, it's interesting how people see things in the world. You could be all of the 99, but that 1% is just that 1%. Darn. So let's get on with it. I'm going to take it a little easy on you, but I'm going to give you a little bit of the heavy, right? Because we need to go forth with this message, right? So the last few times I was talking to you about the second generation of Jezebel, the Athaliah, right? So Athaliah had Jehoram, and what we are not understanding is you're too busy worried about Jesse's daughter. You're not worried about Jehoram. See, I keep telling people Jehoram's situation was a situation that could have been avoided because Jehoram was the descendant of Jehoshaphat. So he had teachings from the Bible. He had holy teachings and he knew better. This is what it is. He knew better. That's just like knowing about the red light and the green light thing, and you still blow through the red lights, and you hope you don't get a ticket. But the thing is, that law was a law whether or not you wanted it to be there or not, whether or not you had a doctor's appointment, whether, it's like laws are laws. I learned the hard way, right? I was a speeder, right? And one time they caught me going like 120. And although I had a good excuse and my excuse was honorable, the issue is you just can't do 120 because it could be dangerous to people. So that sticks with my concept of just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? And it ended me up in a lot of stuff. But the thing is, I learned the lesson, I learned the discipline, I learned the language, and I also got another education. See, what had happened is I ran into a judge that did not like my bravado. She did not like my honest and my candid answer when she asked me, "Do you know?" And when it came down to it, my answer was, "Yes, I do it again because that is my child." And the reason why I did it was because I was going to the aid of my child. And maybe it didn't go over on her well what I said. But in defense, what I was doing was right for me and my situation, although it wasn't right for the city, the state, it wasn't right for the rules, and it potentially could have put people in danger. That was my stance, and I was unapologetic with it. So you have to understand, even though it is right to you and you know the situation, you also have to see others. You understand? You have to have a little bit of temperament so that you can consider the facts. And the facts were, of course, it was a law. I'd broken the law because I deemed it fit and I deemed the time for it. You understand? So just know that just because you feel right doesn't make it so, okay? You can't just think your way into it. You can't just make things change because of your temperament. It still has to be in such a way, and this is what separates us from the beast, okay? Just to be mindful. So I'm going to give you a small little tidbit of what it is to find wisdom, where wisdom is found. And did I ever mention that I'm a Gemini? A gem. A gem for sure. Do you know what a gem is? Do you know how to measure it? Do you know how to value a gem? Most people look at gems and they say, look at those rocks over there. They look hard. They look intimidating. That could crush my toe, if it gets to rolling. God forbid it be a boulder. And that's why most people don't look for the big gems. They look for the pebbles. They get comfortable with the sediment and wonder why they find themselves crushed like sand and then blown into glass. And you know what happens to glass if you don't take care of it? Because it's fragile. It's no longer a rock. So don't allow someone to crush you into sediment, turn you into sand, blow you into glass, make you so fragile that you'll crack at the smallest shock of pressure. It's not as easy to clean up glass as it is to clean up an egg. Are you understanding? Definitely. Okay, so we're in Job. Yes, I'm not in Psalms this morning. Keep up. We're in Job 28, and I'm going to show you where the wisdom is found. Mind you, I just gave you a spiel about Geminis. If you do not know what a Gemini is, put in the first three letters and see what emoji comes up. All right. Yes, you got to get the old ones in order to get the real words. Where wisdom is found. There is a mine for silver and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth and copper is melted from ore. Mortals put an end to the darkness. They search out the furthest recesses for ore in the blackest darkness. Far from human dwellings, they cut a shaft in places untouched by human feet. Far from other people, they dangle and sway. The earth from which food comes is transformed by fire below as by fire. Lapis lazuli comes from its rocks, and its dust contains nuggets of gold. No bird of prey knows that hidden path, no falcon's eye has seen it. Proud beasts do not set foot on it, and no lion prowls there. People assault the flinty rock with their hands and lay bare the roots of the mountains. They tunnel through the rock. Their eyes see all its treasures. They search the sources of the rivers and bring hidden things to light. But where can wisdom be found? Where does understanding dwell? No mortal comprehends its worth. It cannot be found in the land of the living. The deep says, "It is not in me." The sea says, "It is not with me." It cannot be bought with the finest gold, nor can its price be weighed out in silver. It cannot be bought with the gold of Ophir, with precious onyx or lapis lazuli. Neither gold nor crystal can compare with it, nor can it be had for jewels of gold. Coral and jasper are not worthy of mention. The price of wisdom is beyond rubies. The topaz of Cush could not compare with it. It cannot be bought with pure gold. Where then does wisdom come from? Where does understanding dwell? It is hidden from the eyes of every living thing, concealed even from the birds in the sky. Destruction and death say, only a rumor of it has reached our ears. God understands the way to it, and he alone knows where it dwells. For he views the ends of the earth and sees everything under the heavens. When he established the force of the wind and measured out the waters, when he made a decree for the rain and a path for the thunderstorm, then he looked at wisdom and appraised it. He confirmed it and tested it. And he said to the human race, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. To shun evil is understanding. Good morning. And yes, to shun evil is to be understanding. So, let me help you understand what I was talking about as far as our second generation and the Jehoram and Athaliah situation. You see, my dear, that is the oldest honeypot and the biggest honeypot because they were not going for a mere 100,000. They weren't going for a truck. They weren't going for a city. They weren't going for a province. They were going for a nation. See, that was the honeypot. They sent Athaliah into Jehoram, which was an established prophet's descendant, and she was there to compromise the program, and the program was to bring Judah back into greatness, was to bring Judah back into the fold, into the son, into David, right? And the issue was, she was there to compromise things. She was there to make Judah fall. That is the honeypot. A lot of times when you get into these relationships, you have to understand why that person is there. Is that person there to make your nation grow? Or is that person there to make your nation fall? Is that person there to make you abundant, or are they there to drain you and rob you of your destiny? Is that person going to be able to disrail you at any given time because of what they want and what they need and their connections and things of that nature? Are they going to be able to replace you and your worship? Are they going to take you off your given path? And that is usually what the honeypot is situated around. It's situated around your honeypot, your honey, your milk and honey, your land of milk and honey. So in old, a lot of people think that the Jezebel has to be a single spirit. And this is why in Athaliah's story, you have to be careful, because there's a mate that's always involved. See, the new honeypots don't look like single people roaming around this earth. The new honeypots don't look like reckless people going around this earth. So when you keep saying Jezebel, it doesn't hit like it should hit, because you are still dealing with old situations. They used to say a Jezebel spirit was because she was single, was because he was single and had no attachments. Okay? And then they said it was because they were doing this and they were doing that and they had no job and they were not upstanding. But here we are with two citizens willfully enforcing evil teachings upon the people, thus compromising a whole nation. And when you see things are being done in a bad way, and yet you still follow, you have done stripped yourself of the sight and the understanding going forward, because you saw what was right and you still chose to go wrong. And this is why free will is so important. It's a reason why you're given free will. That's the only thing that you cannot get rid of. That is not free. Free will is not free in a sense. You have to pay the price of having free will, because we need to know which side you are going to definitely pick. In which case, Baal's side was already chosen when he went into the honeypot, and you have to be actualized in your own self when you go into these relationships. You have to know what the business is. You have to actually be able to stand on 10 toes down. If you said this is what you want, if you said this is what has to happen, and you know this is wrong and this is right, you have to be prepared for a person to be uncomfortable with you. You have to be prepared with a person wanting to walk away from you. And when a person can walk away from you because you need correction in a situation, there's your answer. A lot of us have our answer right in our face, but we want to ooh and we want to ah and we want to wait things out and we want to turn it this way and we don't want to turn it that way, but the actual picture's there. You want to delude yourself. You want someone to tell you something to make you feel comfortable of the little bit of wrong you should feel, and you don't really want to feel a little uncomfortable. You want comfort, right? But you want comfort in the wrong places. And when you sit in the wrong places too long and you start having all these issues with your body and you start having all these issues with your friends and you have all these issues going on elsewhere, remember, you wanted to be comfortable in the wrong space. Doesn't matter how much. Sometimes it does really matter how long you stay in that uncomfortable space. Pressure can bust pipes. Pressure's also made diamonds, but it's good pressure. It's pressure at certain degrees. It's a certain environment that creates a diamond. But y'all want pressure all over the daggone place. And we all been guilty of wanting to apply pressure everywhere else in our lives but where it needed to be. I remember there was a time when I wanted to skip push-ups and I wanted to skip sit-ups. But then I had the nerve to want to buy a waist trainer. Now that's this example. I'm not trying to come at anybody, and I'm not trying to, well, somebody caught a stray, but hey, hit dog holler. So you mean to tell me I couldn't take the pressure of doing a sit-up or a push-up, but I can walk around with a dang rubber band strapped around, dang near suffocating my innards, my organs, to try to pressurize a new shape when I could have just put the pressure where it needed to go and I would have still gotten the shape. Not only that, I wouldn't have to take my pants down at every dinner trying to take the damn thing off. Not to mention all these other illusions that I'm causing because I'm not applying pressure in the right place. See, a lot of us want these shortcuts, not knowing what these shortcuts do. That's just like when these people take all these diet supplements, and it's good to have good diets. And the diet is usually how you eat, the things that you consume, and how often and how much. Now, die is it. Like, you're going to die if you keep taking it. And like I said, we're applying pressure to the wrong parts of life. Do you understand what that refocusing can do? This is just like a lot of the people when they came out of the COVID. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. When they came out of the COVID, everybody sat in and watched everybody's life and everybody's made up life. And I'm a little perturbed about that because now everybody want to be AI on the street. And it's dangerous when adults want to fake. See, we teach our kids to keep our imaginations. And the only people that are really benefiting from playing dress up and makeup are everyday actors. They actually got hired as actors. And they go on screen and do it. And when they get off screen, they stop. And go figure, the actors are pretending to be real people. But they get paid for that for a certain reason and a certain skill. But when everybody decided that they want to get their act on, we ran the issue of lacking authenticity in our real lives. So even with the screen off, we got to figure out what role you playing. And this is why nobody can be taken at face value. The fakes have gotten so full that now they're all just AI and nobody is logged in. Not really. Not really. As we go forward, I'm trying to keep us to where we still understand written text because eventually we're going to be shown picture books like invalids. They officially erased the two women of the Bible that said no. I don't know how important this is to anyone, but it's important to me. If they were able to erase real people from something so honorable and respected, what's next. So we have to be careful of the hot honeypot situation and being coupled in with certain folks. Certain folks come into your life to perform certain things. And be careful who you're coupling with. Jehoram could have known, should have known that the wife that he was taking in Athaliah was going to push paganism because she came from a paganistic family. Her mom and dad were. That's why it's important to pay attention to the family, pay attention to the cousins, everybody. Pay attention to the mom, pay attention to the dad, the uncles, the aunts, the children even. And that's another dynamic. You have to pay attention to your children as they grow up, because as they get older and they get access to different family members, you have no idea how the twists and turns go and how the influence is. You don't know who hooks up and makes pacts and agreements to go forward and go on. But they need to be educated and they need to know. Certain cousins don't play like that, and they read up. However, I don't have any. So yeah, I'll uncousin un anybody. It does not matter. All right, so you have to be very careful when you're coupling up with people, because you don't know what you've bought into. And be okay with revising contracts and ripping things up and starting over. It's okay. Nobody has to agree with what you did, especially when you find that the contract has been compromised, breached. I don't know why somebody needs to say this. It's been altered. Commitments have been forged without your presence, but they need your input. Things of that nature. Be careful of the honey trap. Sometimes the person that you're being introduced to, they'll act like they know nothing about you, not knowing that they've run a full docs on you for about a year. Probably with your family. Probably with your boss. Probably with your landlord. You have no idea who you meet in this life. And as you shake hands, each person you shake hands with, you shaking hands with somebody that they know, whether you've met them or not. So you have to understand, every time you introduce yourself, the world gets relatively smaller. So be careful of the honey trap. Jehoram and Athaliah were a perfect example for a honey trap. He was set up so that she could take the city of Judah. And she successfully did for a time. But wickedness will not prevail in the end, because, like I said, that auntie, she got that last heir, and she hid that heir until he came of age and was strong enough. And they took him out to the court and they crowned him. And when Athaliah heard whisperings of such a celebration, she came running into the court, and she was yelling treason and treason. But she had mistreated the people, and they were so tired and worn out from her rule. They could not restore. No one was healing. The crops weren't growing. So much blood has been spilt. The sun wasn't even shining the way it used to on Judah, because such a woman had gone through and taken out so much of the bloodline. She was killing grandkids. She was murdering all of her grandbabies. She was doing the most. She had conspired to get rid of her husband. She conspired to get rid of her son, and successfully did so. She pushed her will. She pushed her will, even though her will was not the way. She just pushed it. She was sent in to marry this man and sully this man, and she successfully did so. And there are men that operate, if not the same, almost better now, because they're able to put on our face, our nails, our bodies, our hips, our lips. They have a application for just about anything. So imagine that type of honeypot. where you can't even be sure of what that person, the initial person, is before we even get into the shits and giggles. You understand? We have evolved into a whole different situation of honey trap cases. And you don't know what the person came to get unless they get it or unless they don't. So be mindful when you're putting these things together and these evil deeds, and you guys are going into you guys' meeting and your cults and your situations and your groups and your sectors and your sects and your covens and whatever you call your group, your association or your organization or your institution or your non-profit or your this or your that or your boardrooms or your this. Just know when there are wicked intentions stirring up and then they're followed by actions, don't look around when things start not going so well. It really truly isn't the force of anyone else. It's because you actually went against your higher self. Yeah, you hit yourself. Nobody hit you. But it is very interesting to see you hit yourself. Remember that game? You hit yourself. It is so interesting to see. And then a lot of you become grown adults and you start to do things behind the scenes and you hide behind what people see as your character. You hide behind the illusion that you may be a trustworthy person. Yet, no one seems to benefit but you from your so-called trustworthiness. That's something to look at. How is it that the person that carries so much gossip is the only one that benefits from said gossip? Yet you come for your $10, $20 or your meal and you are full. Perhaps you've breadcrumbed yourself into the contract as well. Because you have small and meager needs, and a person can definitely satisfy and send you on your way to be a crash dummy and then come and talk to you later and extract all the information from your brain, leaving you nonetheless wiser as to you being a monitoring spirit because you are so eager to give morsels so that you can receive crumbs. Because you tell yourself that this is your friend, this is your accomplice, this is the person that you should take counsel with. However, this person takes counsels with other people, so of course they could not give you a lot when they're spread so far. Everybody gets $10. He's like Oprah. I'm going to give $10 to you. I'm going to give $10 to you. You're going to get $5 because you don't even give me enough information. I'm going to give you $20 because you do the most. And I don't really like you, but I'm going to give you the most because I don't want you to tell the other $10 people that I gave you $20 because there's no honor amongst us thieves because we're all accepting bribes. Am I hitting you hard? Ouch. Do I need to get into the cards or do I just shuffle? Because it just seems like the messages are coming out of me anyway. There's a person with a big member that likes big members, and because they have a big member, they like to become a member, and people don't know they're a member because they like members. Members only jackets. You know the type. Members only jackets. They have a reputation that precedes them. Also, they are telling of the age, but it's a members only. There's also someone that has a small member in their small member, but they like to meet up with the big members because they're all members only. Same sex, mostly male. The females only do it because they like to be in proximity. Some of them aren't. Some of them are. Some of them just have a lot of scars. Miss, if you're performing because you think you want to keep the member does not like you. The member is using you because this is what they do. The honey trap. There is a female holding on to a male that is not even being held on to. She does not know that he is there to extract all that he can and take back to his boyfriend because that is the lifestyle. Him and his boyfriend enjoy taking you out on double dates with your girlfriends because they both have fun and laugh at you all. Because you guys are thinking that you all are going to double date. But if you guys do double date, you guys are paying for it in one way or another. And they fantasize. They fantasize. They fantasize brutal things about you all. So be careful and be mindful. Go to the doctors. Go to the doctors from the waist down. But go to the doctors from the neck up. There's somebody that's supposed to come out. They're supposed to have been come out. They want to. They're kind of holding on to some fake illusion that someone is able to judge them due to what they do. But if they should stop listening to the people that are judging them and just do it, they'll find that they'll be much more comfortable in their skin. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Stay true to yourself because it doesn't really take much for a person to lie to you. It doesn't. Now we have the devil just came out with the Eight of Pentacles, so you're working hard to master or control your obsession. Flash quick. Okay, you're working hard to control your obsession. This is the Eight of Pentacles. This is the devil. This is the 15 and the, which make that 21, which make that 3. So it's funny. You have Capricorn and Virgo here in these cards. And what I'm reading, the energy is somebody is working hard behind the paint. They're stalking. They're stalking. They're pocket watching. They're stalking. They're pocket watching coins. They're watching someone's money. They're watching someone's life. This is what I'm getting from these two cards. Stalking. Stalking someone's work. Stalking someone's workplace. Their money, their way of life. I don't understand why they want to do that. Why are they doing that? Why should you do that? Why should you be stalking someone's life if you're not putting into someone's life? You don't help that person. You don't do anything from that person. What are you doing? Are you cock blocking? Are you coochie patrol or something? What gives you the right? The craziest part about some of these stalkers is they have somewhere to be. They have a scheduled place to be. They have televisions as well. Some of them have wives or husbands. Seven of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. We have young to the old. We have a younger female. We have an older female. We have an experienced. We have a weather-worn female. She doesn't look happy. She doesn't look happy in this field at all. Actually, if you see the way the cards came out together, they're like if we turned them around the way they came out together. Let me put them the way that I see them in my eyes when I'm looking at them. Let me put this way. It looks like she's, you see how it looks? It looks like she's hexing the girl holding the money. It looks like she's looking at her. She's giving her the evil eye. She has her own, but she doesn't want that girl to have anything. She has her eyes on her own things. She even has a goat. She's good. But this one, she has things to harvest, yet she has her eyes on her. She has her own pentacles to harvest, but she has her eyes on that girl's one pentacle. I don't know who that lady is, but that lady needs help. That lady needs to mind her business and let that girl have her one pentacle. She has all her pentacles to worry about. And this is how gardens die. Because you're not tending to your own things. You're too worried about taking someone else's. Remember that dog with the bone at the lake? Remember when he saw that the bone was so juicy in the dog's mouth in the lake? He decided that he wanted his bone because his bone wasn't juicy enough. And when he opened his mouth to get the bone from the other dog, he dropped the bone that he had. And now he had no bone. But still a reflection. Lessons are very easy to come across. It's just that they don't get learned. All right, so let's keep going because these cards are telling a story. Are telling a story of the old not being satisfied by the youth and being covetous, trying to take and not giving the lessons or not being a good example. Also about honey traps, about how going in with people not knowing what their intentions is and being able to pull yourself away before you become undone or you meet your demise due to a situation in which you could have changed the trajectory. Oh, tower moment. So someone's going through an emotional tower. Sometimes it's just changing your beliefs or killing the illusion. Sometimes you have to die in the physical. Sometimes you have to let things come to rest in your life. You have to put away things that are no longer serving you, be it people, places, or thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it is not getting you forward or it's going to compromise, it's going to compromise your character in the end, should you really be a part of it. And the tower came out at 16. Which is a 7. Abrupt ending cycle. So someone should be experiencing some type of awakening, reawakening. They should be either returning back to their studies or they should be clearing out. You could be clearing out your spaces. You could be deleting some people. You could be blocking some people. You could be just throwing some things away. You could just be cleaning the house, cleaning your room. You could be doing some cleansing, cutting your hair, your toenails, anything. You could be just get rid of dead things, things that no longer serve you. It all depends on where you are in the spiritual journey as to what kind of cleansing. Sometimes, a lot of times, people always say, oh, well, this is going in my life. Someone else must be doing something to me. When will you take responsibility for your posture in this world? When will you turn on your own GPS and stop looking for the location of everyone else's? I ask this in all honesty. But this is your neighborhood love dealer, and I love you all, and I wanted to make sure that Sunday was started in the right way, okay? I want to be sure because, like I said, people are bold, and even though a lot of people know better, they hope that you don't. So be aware. Don't come for me because somebody's spinning you. I gotta cut these nails. I'm so scared to use.